Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. This is Andre Soklal,
I'm Kevin Campbell.
and we're going to head straight into the news, Kevin. Trinidad Tobago took on the US, and we all were hoping for a victory to be top of the group. It did not turn out well. We ended up losing 4-0. A lot of people, before we get into it, they really thought we had a legitimate chance. I thought we did okay, but Kevin, before I get into it, let me hear your thoughts on the game.
I thought that the first half was really good, but then 12 minutes of madness in the second half meant that we lost 4-0.
Yeah.
But I think there's a positives to look forward to after that encounter. And going into the Hex, we have our plan set out, what we need to do to qualify.
Yes. One of our fans actually asked me directly on Facebook before the game. Yannick Manning, good guy, he's a real football guy. So he asked me an interesting question. He said, would you prefer if Trinidad lost his game not play, I think, well, he thought at the time that we'd have to play, I think, Mexico.
Yeah.
And I told him I was torn because, I'm thinking, all right, it's good to start off at home or whatever. But then I'm thinking at this stage of the tournament, you're going to meet those guys anyway. So you might as well, go for the victory and, get, some self-esteem under their belt and build their confidence. So I was torn, and I would never, at the end of the day, I would never want Trinidad to ever lose. I don't think a team should ever resort to losing as a means to, benefiting themselves. But it was a very interesting theory he had. He thought maybe it might be easier, but we were discussing it. As a result of this now, from what I've seen of the schedule, I think our first game is going to be against Costa Rica at home. I'm not sure. So that's actually not too bad. But in the context of the game, I agree with you. I think Trinidad played pretty well.
Yeah.
In fact, for the first half, they had the US pretty much pinned back in their half at times. They were winning a lot of the 50-50 challenges. And then, as you said, a moment of madness, a poor clearance. Then there was some slack marking for the second goal and the third. It was definitely a couple minutes of absolute chaos.
Yeah, the first half was good for Trinidad, but Sasha question. And remember in the last show, we spoke about Sasha. We spoke that he was absent from the team for a while, and then when he got called back, he was surprised. But I really like Question.
Yeah.
I mean, he provides that link between midfield and strike force. He replaced Jermaine Jones, and he got onto a great ball and literally poked it past Marvin Phillip.
Yep.
And in the second half, 12 minutes of madness, a quick fire burst from Josie Altidore. We spoke about Altidore's potency. We spoke about how strong he was, how good he was in front of goal, and he really hurt us.
Yeah.
And then the final goal from Ariola, his maiden goal. So, and after that, we sort of got back into the game and had two great chances. I think it was Highland and Dwayne Jones had chances late on in the game to actually register a goal. But I was a bit disappointed. Coach Hart, he made some changes to the back line. Half of the back line was changed.
Yeah.
I mean, Sheldon Bateau was replaced by Rodanfa Abubakar.
Yep.
And on the right, Cyrus was replaced by Aubrey David. So it gave a different structure to the back line. And up front, Jones was retained, but Cato was replaced by Levi Garcia.
Yes.
And that's a move I wanted to see. And I enjoyed seeing Garcia run at the American defense.
He caused them a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but in the earlies, I think that the U.S. relied heavily on Bobby Wood and Christian Pulisic. We saw how good Pulisic was. I mean, that shot that hit both posts, it was outstanding. And Pulisic, the way he plays, he runs the channels quite a lot like Donovan, a good dribbler. But I think with Pulisic, he has a better tenacity and aptitude for football compared to Donovan. So in the second half, the U.S., they came on. I mean, it looked as though we were a bit fatigued, but the U.S. came on strong with their subs, so we were meant to pay for some slack work in the second half.
Yeah, and what it shows is at this stage, when we are the Hex now, it's no longer, no offense and no disrespect to St. Vincent and all these other teams. You're playing with the big boys now. These are the best of the region. It shows you when you make mistakes, you will pay for them. It was just a couple minutes. A lot of people have been panicking and saying, oh, it's a disaster, and the bandwagon fans who jumped on and jumped back off. Kenwin Jones has got a lot of criticism. From a fan's perspective, I could understand that when he misses chances, it is aggravating. But I'll be very honest. He was a presence up front, and when he left the field, his absence was felt because you could see the defense were no longer troubled. They didn't look as occupied as they normally would be with Kenman Jones on the park. And I always say, if Kenman Jones could just fine-tune that last part of his game and just finish those chances he gets, because he does command a lot of attention. And when he came off, it showed. Winchester came on, and he's more a dribbler, ball on the ground type player. Very interesting choice, similar to Cesar in a lot of ways. Very physical. Very much in the mold of, I like to compare him to Tevez. He could drop deep and build up play. But essentially, I think Trinidad, it was incidents rather than they had a poor game. The scoreline, of course, is terrible. 4-0 always looks bad. It would have been great. But I actually think this is a very, a slap in the face for Trinidad that, they were celebrating, they drew against Guatemala and so on. But this is a game where they need to realize, hey, wow, guys, we have work to do. I was a bit disappointed with the midfield. I think they did not look like themselves at times. They got lost when that first goal was conceded. And they took too long, and this is a characteristic of Trinidad. That was a problem years ago. We would concede goals, and Hart addressed this in the early stages of the game, and we would take very long to react. And we took about 12 minutes to react, and we paid in the end. So Stephen Hart obviously has a lot of work to do. In his post-match conference, he spoke and said his players need to, his senior players, he expected a lot more from them, and it's definitely a lot for him to learn. But take Hart Trinidadians, we have some games coming up before the Hex. I think it's the Gold Cup qualifiers, so it's the Caribbean Cup. So we have games that will definitely be what we need. I think the team needs to play together more. I mean, ideally we should be playing some big teams, but I think that's perfect for us. I think we are just a few tweaks away from being a better team, and Hart needs to fix that.
Yeah, the midfield duo of Highland and Buko, they were a bit overawed. I mean, Highland made a mistake for the first goal, but I don't know if they should be rested because they played a lot of football.
They look exhausted,
so maybe, I like Hector, maybe he could have come in and provided a bit of a calming influence. But I want to pinpoint the right-hand side of the play. Aubrey David on the right, he played instead of Cyrus. But most of the attacks, I mean, all the goals came along that side.
Yeah, they saw that. That's true. Good point.
Yeah, and could be that the US sort of created a mismatch and they double teamed on the left because Fabian Johnson, the US left back, he was absolutely fantastic for the entire game. And this is a guy that plays for Gladbach in Germany, but he was part of that German under 21 side that won the Euros in 2009, playing with Neuer, Khedira, those guys. So that's definitely quality on the left going forward for the US. And he was a guy, Fabian Johnson, that Klinsmann did not like because he wasn't the greatest of characters in the dressing room. He's a bit disobedient, but he played and he's now in Klinsmann's good books. So maybe that right-hand side could be a bit of a spot where Trinidad could look at. I mean, playing that right-sided midfielder, get him to defend more, could be an option in the future, especially when you play teams like Costa Rica, who come at you from both flanks.
Yeah, they love the wide play. Yes, they did. I noticed that as well. They definitely identified that area. Make no mistake, these guys use their statistics and data. They know more about the players and the players know about themselves. Klinsmann, to his credit, obviously identified, and Guatemala as well. And I think it was a wake-up call, and Stephen Hart may have to adjust. Teams are studying Trinidad. And Guatemala clearly had a game plan that almost worked. Let's be real, Marvin Phillips saved a lot of chances.
In the first half, I remember.
He was fantastic. The US also as well. So this is where Trinidad has to be a bit more tactical, and also, we spoke about this in another episode. The W Connection coach spoke about the psychological ability to adapt to games, game management. They are aware it's a problem, but I saw that as a real issue, and he got terrorized on the right side. So, with all that being said, we are through to the Hex. The game, I don't know, I'm glad that we played the US. I'm glad we played the US, and I'm glad a lot of people won't see it that way because you'd always like to win. But I think it's better that we lost now. We sit down and be like, all right, guys, listen, we have some glaring issues to work on, and we go use all our energy, defeat the US 2-1 or something like that, learn nothing, and then go into the second round, and they come back around and destroy us.
Notable mention, Andre, before we wrap up, Carlos Ruiz scored 7 goals in the last 2 games. We were speaking about him potentially catching Sturgeon up there, and he scored 7 goals after we said that.
He heard us.
But he has retired now from international football. I think he's 2 goals behind St. John, so we can breathe a nice calm of relief there.
Can't catch in the burn, you know what I'm saying?
Guys can't.
But Ruiz, I'm actually surprised. I thought he would have just followed through and gone all the way. But listen, the guy's a goal scoring machine.
Yeah.
And I guess they did not make it to the next round, so he said goodbye.
Yeah.
So, guys, that's what we think of the Trinidad game. Let us know what you think about it in the comment section below.
Yeah.